Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KotoKai Robo-Dojo Workbench 97, I think it is. And we're a little bit late tonight. Sorry about that. That's my fault. We're just talking about stuff back here and leaving you guys hanging. But you're so very diligent and chatty, and that's nice because I can see what's going on secretly from behind the scenes. My name is Brian. You're on my channel. If you don't know who I am, surprise, it's me. Now you know. Next to me, it's my friend Paul.
What's going on, guys? Good evening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chatting already.
So many people out there. Who was the first one? Guy chimed in, tagged it. Sorry, Manny. Guy knocked in at 7:39 this evening. Super early.
Whoa.
Steven joined him right away. Nice. Manny said, nope, not something. I said something 2 days ago. Ugh. It's actually, that's a possibility. He might, because I create the videos like at the end of a live stream, I'll create like the next couple videos. And he probably just like jumped in, left a comment because it's not live. I bet that's just a comment on the video. Thank you for leaving a comment on the video. I appreciate it because it helps the channel.
It does. Yeah, you got a couple of them. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
A week ago. Full on conversation a week ago.
Nice. Julie Stemsky, what's going on? I need to talk to this guy. Mr. Chris Peps. Oh, so this is what it's like to be early. Peps. Very nice. Greg Blair out there as well. What is good? How are y'all doing? Miguel and Dave B and Ongawa. What it do? How are you? How is everyone? How are you, Paul? How is the world down in Florida?
It's good. It was hot yesterday, and now it's cool.
I thought it was always cool in Florida.
It's never cool in Florida. It was like 80-something degrees yesterday.
No, I mean like cool.
No, it's never cool in Florida either.
Damn. The horse's mouth.
Crazies. There's just full of crazies.
Oh yeah.
Every time you hear like a crazy story, it's like a 72% chance that it's from Florida, and if not, it's probably from Texas. Like that's
Florida man. I don't know. Occasionally you'll get an Ohio man.
Yeah, Ohio. It's got to be probably like meth involved.
Yep. I didn't say it, but I was thinking it.
Florida's like, remember the bath salt thing a couple of years ago? That was Florida, like big into the bath salts. I want to know the first person that figured that out. Like,
how do you get into that, right?
Right. Like, I mean, once you figure it out, like, I don't think I'm that upset well, I wouldn't do it, but like, once you already say, like, hey, if you eat these bath salts, if you eat these bath salts, you'll get high.
I'm a scientist. What if we take... Who the fuck knows what?
Bath salts. I didn't know what bath salts were until I started seeing people getting high on them. It's like bath salt. Or like seasoning yourself? What the hell? Why would you put salt in the bath? My wife was kind enough to explain that to me.
No, it softens the water.
Yes. You would think I would know that too. Like
it's high in magnesium, which and is good for the muscles as well as your cellular structure. Which is why it's good to take magnesium in your diet if you don't.
You would think I would know that, maybe a little water chemistry or something. But
hey, look,
I was like, I'm thinking salt. Like,
I just work here, all right? I don't know.
Like kosher salt. Like I was like, why would I put salt in the bath? Like that's that doesn't sound like a good idea at all.
The finest in Himalayan sea salts.
Right. I only take kosher salt baths, not table salt.
Steve with the hot take. KotoKai Robo-Dojo sponsored by Tresemme and Paul Mitchell. Seriously, that hair looks amazing.
No Paul Mitchell or Tresemme. I use whatever my wife buys. Oh, guys, Testament came in. Mine came in Monday. I did get a notification though, but that's not. I've had some similar stuff happen where something just shows up at my door and I wasn't expecting it. Nothing there. Huh. You ordered it from the U.S. P Bandai store, correct? If I remember right, we were talking about that last week.
P Bandai America. I don't fucking know what that means.
First man who tried an oyster. Yeah. The oyster's like, yeah, I agree. That wouldn't be something I would think to try if I just saw it out in the wild.
You guys ever watch Ryan George on YouTube? He's part of Screen Rant. He does the pitch meetings.
Yeah.
Right. So on his own channel, he does these things where it's like the first guy to. So it's like the first guy to ever, own a zoo. He's like, yeah. So I captured a penguin. And it's just like, stuff like that. I don't know. It's pretty funny, but it's conversations that he has with himself, and it's good back and forth. And I'm a terrible describer of that shit. He's off work for the next 8 days. If I want to chat, I do. I have a couple of days free this weekend. I'm going to hit you up, and we're going to video chat. I'll probably give you a link to a private StreamYard, Julius, and we'll just talk about the project and where to move forward from here. Good stuff. Let's see. Char's Apprentice says too many bath salts and he'll get a wicked UTI. Be careful. And then he did a nice little emoji, which I gotta share it.
I think I'll be all right. I couldn't tell you the last time I took a bath.
Yeah, like an actual bath. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can probably use a soak. I'm supposed to be on vacation. Right now, I think.
It's like the usual time of the year for you.
No, we booked it on the last cruise we were on, which was in January of last year, right before the world ended. And we booked a cruise for now. So we're supposed to be either on our way back or down in the
cruises are
Caribbean. Not coming back for a while.
I heard 2022 at best.
Yeah, it's all right though. Give it a break, give it a rest, let everything chill out, figure out some new methods for sanitation, and do the thing.
Yeah.
What do I have planned for us for the 18th? That must be the 100th episode. I don't have a clue. I'm gonna give something away. I've kind of got that narrowed down.
I do as well. And
other than that, I don't plan these things out. I plan out my builds more than I plan out any of this. I other than setting up a stream ahead of time, that just saves me time from setting it up, and then it lets other people know that there's something coming up, because I'm not really going to promote these at the streams and stuff like that. I'm not out there hawking my dingle. Hey guys, come watch me dangle. No. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, so in regards to planning out what's going to go down, I don't know. I should probably figure that out. I'll think about it more. But the more I'm reminded, the more I tend to think about things. At least that's what works for my wife. No, naked women, ponies, and midgets will not be here. Sorry.
Definitely no ponies.
It may be a bunch of people. I might try to send out a big invite and try and get a bunch of people that have been guests with me and Paul here on the show throughout the run, and cycle some people through and talk about this and that and laugh and have a couple drinks and give away a kid or two and call it a day. Call it a bidet.
It's gonna be I'm sure the kits will be proportionate to the amount of drinks.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna finish that. Who wants it?
Oh no, I have 3 kits in mind to choose from.
I have some things in general. Things and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I have to do other things. Julio needs to come over so I can send a package to my good friend, Z. Zishon said,
Shishwammy.
I was having trouble. It didn't want to. This thing, this old that works down here makes a noise. Sometimes makes sense. Didn't want to. Pev says I'd have to pay Pevs. A paraphernalia of colored balls. Very nice, Miguel. Paul, what are you working on? Hey, you know what? We haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Chat for a second there, but hey, let's see what's going on with Paul.
Continuing on the Wing Zero EW
Verka,
yeah. I got just the body and the arms and hands done. Moving kind of slow. It's a cool kit though. It's small. The wing's always been a pretty small kit, but it's decently part heavy for a small kit. It's certainly, I didn't build the Wing Zero 1.0, but I've built a couple other wing kits, and it's definitely more part heavy than the other wing kits that I've built. So,
what about how's it rate to a Supernova?
I haven't built my Supernova kits yet. They're still in the box. Yeah, I have built the original Shenlong, Sandrock, Death Scythe, and Heavy Arms. And they all share the same frame and, some similar construction concepts and stuff like that. And this is definitely more parts heavy than that. And I've built the Wing Zero high-res, which sucked. It was horrible. Shit. Don't buy it. Crap kit.
Wow. So
buy it if you hate yourself.
Tell us how you really feel about it.
What's up, Julio? Yeah, I think it took me like an hour and a half to get it in one pose. And then I never moved it again.
Right. No need.
No,
not going anywhere.
It got the quintessential Wing Zero pose where it's got both guns, or it's got the guns together and it's pointing down and it's got its wings spread. Got that, and then that was it. I was like, well, that's we're done here.
We're gonna chalk that one up as a win.
Yeah. Right. Whew.
Nice.
Yeah, 8 hours to take photos of it.
Ugh.
And posing and whatnot. So yeah, it's where it stays. And if you breathe on it, it might fall apart.
Yeah, I'm for against that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine if you're gonna, if I was at the process of where I was gonna break it down and paint it right now, I really wouldn't care too much. I just super glue the whole thing back together. But that's just a kit. Like especially that, I feel like the high res, since you don't build the frame, is not really for, like, it was designed for people who don't really want to build kits that much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. It's somewhere in between a figure and a kit, because you're only building about half of it. For it not to look perfect out of the box, and for it to be $100 and something, like, it better be a perfect snap build kit. And it
right
not.
Like something that goes together well, etc., etc. Stays
Guys,
together well.
He is working on his core booster Verka. Nice.
Oh, interesting. Sweet. I was just looking at this as I was putting away a couple of things and getting my models back in order, but Mr. Julius Dembski might get a kick out of this. This is the box top here that is holding the tank dash parts. But this is the related to the side project that he and I are working on. We'll be working on it together here very, very shortly.
Oh, cool. So what you working on tonight?
I'm doing Machine and Krieger stuff still. It is coming up on February, which means OMC time is going to start soon. So I'm going to shift into that at the beginning of the competition this year instead of starting at the very end of the competition. So I'm like wrapping up this, and then I'm not working on it right now, but I'm going to be working on the Core Gundam soon this weekend. But yeah, stuff that I did here recently. The blue tack. It's a blue tack. It is sticky. Notice how the blue tack is only sticky when you don't want it to be, but when you want it to be sticky, it always fails. I weep sadly into my beer night after night while the blue tack laughs in my face. So what I've been working on is I did a little bit of this. Here's a little bit of a fun kit bash compilation cockpit that's on the back of my Grosse Hund. It is cobbled out of a Giridaga backpack that I split and puttied. As you can see, it's pretty big there. Made a bunch of, here you go, some shadows. So you can see it. A couple of custom gas tanks off that tank model. This chair is made out of just a variety of different parts from Kotobukiya kits. This is an astray foot here. This is like an ankle component. It has like usually snaps on with some armor. I just used epoxy putty to make the seat in there. The cockpit. I talked about this a couple days ago, but I'm just doing this all backwards. The control panel. Here we go. Oh, you can kind of see it. The control panels are a couple of different ones, just full of like dials and gauges and stuff like that. I thought it'd be real interesting to add that. I made a couple of funky foot pedals for the pilot to like put her feet on. So I did that and continued a little bit more. I built this armor part. Here we go. This armor part for the forearm to kind of mimic the one that's on the machining Krieger. And then this is just made from a piece of resin cast off stuff from my own the Gusian, the Full City. And this little bit right here, which is from the inside. It's like an inside detail of a gym foot or ankle armor. Yeah, there's like a weird detail inside of there. It's the same thing that I used for the cool foot pedals on there. You can see how it has like a texture and stuff like that. So it's like a different part. I just like these were like cut and shaped and shaved down to look right, and the other ones are just a different part of it.
Yeah, digging the chair. It looks great. I like that whole.
Yeah, right. That was really sweet. I was like so stuck on what it should look like, what I should do with it, and then like it like just struck me and was like, "Fuck it, this is gonna be great." So I decided to do that. I added on some details here, some to where the gun mounts in. So I thought maybe I could like, make a different thing that fits in there too, because it's just a peg that slots into a receiver in there. So, and then added on this little bit of armor out of a Gusian, more Gusian stuff, rebake. So I'm gonna probably take another one of these and then like meld them together, like cut them and shape them so they fit together, and then smooth it out with putty to give it more of like a machine gear feel. Because I've got like this idea for a shape, but I just don't have anything to take to make it. So I got to make it out of other stuff, which is fine, right? That's the name of the game. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the left arm. You saw the right arm. Filled in some holes on the legs, which here, if you guys haven't seen this, I'll do a little rehash on it. So the legs, you can see those white bands are stacks of styrene that I cut the leg, sanded it smooth, and then stacked up styrene, and then glued all that shit together, let it cure, and then sanded it all down to extend the legs. It's the easiest way to do that in my book. But yeah, so I did that to the upper legs and the lower legs. And then last night I went in and as you can see, it's kind of built up with the super glue on the outside, and it just filled up some extra holes that I didn't need that were for like other stuff that whatever. Anyhow, so then I worked on the feet because of course I added and made the feet bigger, because if everything else is bigger, the feet are going to be, they're these tiny little, if you haven't seen them on the Grosse Hund, the feet are these tiny little fucking tiny man feet. And it's like, doesn't make any sense. Boggles, makes the mind play boggle. So I took that and shadows, and I added a lot to it. So it has this like little ball joint in the back, but I added an extra ball joint and then apart from the Julia to like clamp the back foot down. And then this is some other parts from like a Julia, the forefoot from the Iron Blooded Orphans high grade Julia. And then I made these styrene like front pads. There we go. You can kind of see him. They doesn't want to focus, but yeah, that's just 1 millimeter half round, and then glued onto, or cemented onto other parts, and then sanded down, filed down to look nice. I got some more detail to do to that, and then the last thing I did to these was I extended the ankle peg a shitload, as you can see. I'm going to cut it down, but for assembling it, I left it long to make it easier. I didn't have any of the right size styrene because it's like crazy Hasegawa, but luckily the runner for the parts is the same diameter as the peg for the polycap. It's a weird one, right? It's not standard at all. And so what I did for that was I pin drilled a hole in both parts for a piece of really, really snug fitting brass rod. And then I actually because that's so snug that I had to put cement in the hole to like loosen up the putty, and then I crammed the brass in there. And then I just cemented the two parts together. So it's like this like plastic that's smeared and like stuck together around this brass rod in the center to add some length to it, which it isn't super straight, but it doesn't necessarily matter from where it's going. The problem that I was having, and the reason that I did that, was the way that the ankle, the polycap for the ankle is just a simple peg, and it sits pretty far. You can see that it sits pretty far inside there, which when you have the kit built normally is totally copacetic. But I changed the geometry by altering these two components of the leg and then altering the pelvis. You can see I did there too, altering that pelvis as well. I changed the geometry on the kit, and then I threw fucking homunculus mongoloid arms on the sun gun. So it doesn't want to, right. I had to change it. And then with that same geometry, to get the foot to sit right, it needs to sit farther out. And the easiest way to do that is to extend the peg. So, and then that's the easy way to extend the peg. Sounds complicated, but actually once you do it like a couple of different times, you're like, we're doing it. Let's go. I said a lot just now.
so not a whole lot of work, really. Like just pretty uneventful week.
And then the pauldron all filled in and smoothed out, sexy. My cool scrapers that I'm ordered from Volks are on their way.
Oh yeah, would you get ceramic scrapers?
Yeah, the ceramic scraper that Luca uses. I started to get those. They're pretty expensive, so definitely pretty broke. So I only bought one, but it's the round one, the one that he uses to do the inside rounds and stuff. So it's going to make my inside curve carving so much easier.
Yeah, they pretty cool little tool. I mean, I only have like the flat blade one, and it came in handy to clean out some of the resin from the Dom, like some of that interior casting if it was like causing interference with something else while it was,
right.
I think what part was that? Maybe like the top of the foot couldn't squeeze together very well.
Yeah, no,
and it had like a bunch of casting in there, and I just used it just scraped all the casting back down flat. Or sometimes I'm a little nutty about that kind of stuff, and I know you're probably not going to see it, but it just bothers me that it's so unfinished looking. Like, God forbid, you happen to get like a glance of like up under the foot armor or like the calf armor or something like that. It would drive me nuts. So just tried to clean it out a little bit.
Take a swig of Valhalla coffee, Brian. I'm pretty sure you're parched there. I'm drinking Narragansett Lager, High Neighbor. Pretty tasty, very light. Breathe. I do breathe. I breathe. Time to time, place to place. Actually, I do sometimes forget to breathe, which is weird. Busy doing all these other things. Who has time to breathe?
Colleen just hears some like loud gasps from the workbench every once in a while. Like,
it's never that bad.
Are you dying?
No, oh, gosh, no, not in the least. That is hilarious. See, Davey says that he's working on the custom base design tonight for his critical build submission. Great. Glad to hear it. Critical Wall build. We got an episode coming up sometime here next month. So if you've got a build that you're interested in hearing some of the different opinions on, or observations on, I should say, more so than opinions, because we aren't really like judgy about things. We just talk about the different aspects of the model. Feel like throwing it out there. I had a conversation with a friend, I'm not going to dox the person, about submitting builds, and they said because of their skill level and they knew errors that they saw, they were like, I don't feel like I should submit a build until I feel like I don't see errors, so that you guys can then point out the things that I don't see. And I said, oh, that's a very valid thing to think about, but it's not so much about finding errors that you don't see. It's maybe there are things that you did really, really well that you don't realize that you did really well. And those things are going to be helpful to other builders that we can talk about and point out, because we don't really critique the models as much as we take a critical eye and a quality and try to give a quality opinion and observations on it, which is where the idea behind it came from. So a little bit of that.
You might be like obsessing over something that you think you did really wrong, and then that may not be something anyone else would notice, like, or that's not the you're so obsessed on that one detail that you're missing something else.
Mm-hmm. Or even exactly like you're saying, you're because you're focused on that detail, you're missing something else, and then the detail that you're focused on is not a thing that people notice or even consider to be a glaring thing. So that's it's good to get a lot of ideas, or a lot of eyes. I like to get a lot of eyes on something. If I'm making stuff, like, I don't post it up to the world all the time, but I share my projects around or my ideas around. I spitball, and I like to bounce ideas off of people. So it's good to talk to your friends and to talk to strangers even about the stuff that you're working on, because more input is always good, as long as they're going to be like giving you an honest opinion. And that is truly the hard part, finding somebody that isn't going to jerk you around. Lucas, I haven't seen you since this morning. Online. Oh shit! Here we go.
Books for mecha inspirations. Yeah, definitely.
Gosh, I don't know, man. I don't really got a lot of books.
Any of Luca's books, I have the 2301, and that's I think I might have got it on sale, so don't quote me, but it was really inexpensive. It was like a $25 book.
Yeah, that's I think that's like the sale price for it. But any books
I really love any of the art books for any Gundam series that you like the one for IBO in particular is really great. I think you have it, Brian, don't you?
I have many. Hang on.
The IBO design book.
I'm clearing off all of the figures in front of the books, and gonna take the models off the top of the book so that I can easily get to them to share them. My prized model book. Right. Okay. So I'm just gonna steal the show here real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have much more than I do.
I do have a couple. I like books. I like books. So there is a wealth of information out there for inspiration. It just depends on where you want to draw it from. Like, there are compendiums and collections of stuff that are made available. Like, there are fantasy and sci-fi collections, like the Spectrum collection, as well as some of, like, what is that? Oh shit. Something, where the fuck is it? I can't even tell. I have so many fucking books. It's hard to tell. But there's different collections. Spectrum, I know, runs it's like an annual competition, and they have various different levels of art that they put in there. It's like sci-fi fantasy stuff, but it's like paintings and sculptures and 3D renderings and things like that. It's very, very cool, very helpful. I've owned several different versions of them and had several different versions of them stolen from me, editions, I should say, editions of them, just because they're that good. And it's okay. It's a book's a book. It's okay. It's going to somebody else. They're going to use it, and that's really the important part of it. So, but for mecha, I will say one
base one that everyone can get a hold of pretty easily, and Tim Harkins also talks about this one too, so I don't have a problem saying the Nothing But Mech series. These aren't too bad. They aren't super duper expensive, and they're full of a variety of just different artsy interpretations, like a lot of variety of different stuff. So like, it's like more your, like I'm saying, like your collection, your spread of coolness from a lot of different sources. Now you can get into artist specific books. So if you have like specific creators that are really cool, like I have books by this guy Nevan Shathandra, the Dreaming of Mech guy. This one's real cool. This guy, you probably recognize that, right? Everybody knows that picture, right? Yeah, this guy. Really great book. You can pick this up. Once again, you can get these books online. I'm not going to go through and show you everything because there's a lot of books to go through. This guy, Chasing Artwork, right? This guy's real good. He's real fun. It's more of an artistic spread, getting your different. Everybody loves the Sandrock, but this one's cool because he like goes through some breakdowns and stuff, and it's more like ambiance and feeling as opposed to it being like a direct relation as to how to model things, right? Okay, so
those are really cool for like color tone, like what a slightly different color tone could do to a kit that you already have. Like, so let's say you have a Sandrock and you want to paint it as a Sandrock, but just slightly changing that yellow can really do a lot to that kit.
So here's a couple of good ones. Oh wait, I have one more. Oh, actually I have several more, but I'm just going to pull one more out. One more specific artist book that's really good that most people don't know about. Jeff Darrow. Pencil art, right? This guy's stuff is super duper inspiring and really cool. It's all like really clean pencil artwork, and he did some work for like DC Vertigo Comics back in the late 90s. So there are things in here that I recognized when I was, a late teen or 20-year-old. But yeah, cool stuff. A lot of funky mechanical drawings and monsters and stuff. Let's see if I can find a cool mechanical drawing to show. Oh, Kaiju got some Godzilla. Here, this is kind of funky, but. Just like very detailed and creative, mechanics, different things like that. Cool. I found this at Kinokuniya, so you can get this stuff online. You can either get it from them or direct from the artist. Now there are other books that you can do like more IP stuff. This is actually kind of a cross between that. This is an old book, Intron Depot 1. This is Masamune Shiro, one of his earlier books. This goes over like Ghost in the Shell, Black Magic, M66, Dominion Tank Police. Just tons of stuff. And yeah, wealth of information in here. The Evangelion, this is an old one too. Evangelion Groundwork, Volume 2. This is from 2000. But this is just
came out with a new Evangelion artwork book like within the last couple of months as well. I think they even have it on like Right Stuff Anime and Crunchyroll, places like that. I have seen it, so if you want even something more recent.
Yeah, or more, potentially more just like composing. This is like basically groundwork for animation shows. So you get like all the various layers of different things, but there are some really cool aspects to. Oh man, I love this. The pencil work for the stoplights.
That's cool.
It's so good, and it gives a good line weight. Plus, everybody loves really great pictures of the Avas, like close up, or like doing the various actions and stuff. There's a bunch of other things in here. It's a thick book, anyhow. So, moving on from that. There are more creative-driven books, like Paul was saying, the books from Luca Zampriolo, Calamity. Abacan 2288, which is his first book, which is really great. This is really kind of hard to find. Hopefully he can get this reprinted in like a soft cover edition. And then the one that Paul has, Abacan 2301. Luca also has a sketchbook that I own, but it's mostly just like, groundwork and stuff like that. These books too have a lot of information like that, just like sketches and models, and some of it is like how-to-y, where it's like, here's sort of the steps I went through to get from point A to point B, but it isn't really outlined like you do this, you do this, you do this, which is kind of the way you're going to find the information out there. In line with these books is the In Combat series from Mig Jimenez and Ammo Paints. One second. That's like, here, that's these. And these books have a little bit of the kind of like step-by-step more so when they go through and talk about, and this is going to be your traditional, you're going to find your Gramps and whatnot in here, but it like goes through and talks about how and why you would do the different painting and stuff like that. But it also goes into farther back into here, more like customization. This is one from Luca doing a fatty. Yeah, and then just like picture show in the back, cool stuff. And they're all like that from a various different artists. Aaron Simonson, I think that's his name. I feel bad. The guy from down in Australia, Aaron. Simons. Aaron Simons. Here you go. Did a white glint. Beautiful article that is probably one of the highlights of the book 3. Yeah, but those are all really cool. They talk a little bit about finishing. There's some good candy coat in here. You can see that up there. There's that. Some good candy coat tips in book 2 from Mig Jimenez. And there's a lot of stuff. Like I have like a Halo art book over here. I've got Titanfall art book over here. Yeah, just buying art books like that from like popular IPs that are like, of repute. If you get a chance to, it sucks because like store regulations are weird and shit now. But like if you can get into a store to look at a book, get a chance to kind of page, that'll help you pick out what's gonna like fit the thing you're looking for. Now back into the like more Gundam centric stuff, like Paul was saying. Here we go. We'll start with IBO. The Iron-Blooded Orphans, like this is a mechanics book, and then this is like a, what is this one? Yeah, the Mechanics of World, and then this one is just like the Mechanical Works. There you go, Mechanical Works. And then these are cool. They go through and talk about all the suits and outline the ships and all the everything. This one goes into as well as just outlining all of the, get those in there, various suits and details and groundworks and options and ideas behind everything. In the back of it, it goes into some of the world and gives you a little bit of like some place setting and some ambiance and stuff like that. These books are pretty tight. Thunderbolt has the same. I have those 2 for Thunderbolt, and then there's the archives that they make too. I have a handful of those that are pretty cool. They're a little bit harder to get a hold of, but if you can find them, the Gym archives are super cool, and so are the Zaku archives. I really, really love those. The Gundam Weapons books are pretty good too. There's so much stuff out there. If you're really looking for it, like it's tough because it can be overwhelming, but yeah, there's like a lot of cool things that you can, like I have a huge fucking collection because I just love books and I've been collecting forever. Like a lot of these books I got like in the early 2000s, late 90s, and then I've just continued to collect the books as I've, as here we are. So yeah, hopefully that long ass show and tell helped you a little bit. Didn't make you too confused. Sorry.
Just to add, I have a Mobile Suit Archive book. I have the new Gundam here, and these are really great. Like they have all the line art, but they also have like all the mechanical detail in them and stuff like that. Which is, I don't know, I think that's really cool, especially when you're looking at like panel lines and stuff. I think you can probably draw a lot of inspiration from that. And this is from Kevin Dash. He's got his Clash of the Deities. This was a really cool book where he went through a couple of his actual suits and did like the whole how he did everything, like hundreds and hundreds of pictures. Really cool. Joshua Dara has the digital book for his Zeta. That one is really cool. I love like physical books because like touching them is great, but obviously cost and stuff is a huge concern for someone that small. So that's a cool one. And then again, if you can't buy books and you just want to look at stuff, Deviant Art. If you go on there and Google like or just search like Mecha, there's a couple of artists on there. P Shinobi is one of them. I actually have a poster of what he has back up there. You can tell he drew a lot of inspiration from like Gundam and Evangelion and stuff. So that one has kind of a I don't know, like a giant Sananju Sazabi look to it, but in white, and it's got a girl walking up to it in front of it in a kind of like a pilot suit. But he's got some really cool stuff, more like original mecha that just kind of drew inspiration from some other, Gundam source or whatever.
That's some like alternate color Twilight Axis shit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Giant Sazabi girl in a suit walking up to it.
Yeah. It's pretty good. He's got some pretty cool stuff, and he does posters and stuff like that. So prints. So if you want, to have it physically, like I said, I think Brian and I both come from that place of like loving to have that kind of media in our hands. Like it's great that you can access it online, and if that's the only way you can get it, by all means. But
yeah, I'd much rather.
It's just nice to like touch it.
Yeah.
Even when I read books for like my own enjoyment, I can't read off like a Kindle. I can read off a Kindle, but like I choose not to read off like a Kindle or my phone. I like holding the book.
Oh, I got 2 more books to show off. They are.
Do like a book club.
I have
monthly talk or something.
3 more books to show off. No, I've mentioned that I should go through my books and like write something out and do like a small brief like tour of the book, like do like a 10-minute talk about a book, and maybe try and find a way to link people to them to where they can find some of the cool stuff that I found to try and share some of this cool stuff that people might not exactly see. Now, sharing ties into this first book. This book that I didn't talk about before is by Darren Quash. It is called Inkworks. And this guy is real cool. It's a book that's about art and about philosophy, which is pretty neat. So good stuff to read, but like super duper fun, inspirational sketches. The guy is like crazy talented and has like a very unique style that's fun, and yeah, I find it quite inspirational. This is not a tough book to get a hold of. It's about $20. I ended up with 2 of these and I gave one to Julio, so that's why I was talking about sharing. It's a guy to share stuff. And so the last 2 books I'm going to talk about are the books by Rinaldi Studio Press, the SM series.
I have the SM03, the one with the Zazabi on the front.
This one.
Short one, small book, which is great. I actually, I love that it's small. It's so easy to go on the shelf. You can fit it anywhere.
Yeah, as you can see, my SM03 has been all over the place. It's got coffee stains on it. It's a mess. But these are a wealth of knowledge. Both of these books specifically are great for the stuff that we do. The fantasy aspects and the little bit of diorama pieces that are all made from scratch for this, and just the way that the approach to finishing this model it's really well illustrated and really well thought out. I guess I don't know, put down. It's good shit.
Yeah.
And then this is really good for all around weathering techniques. So this is just like super duper good.
That was like the first thing I looked at that I mean, it's a little more common now, but when that book came out a couple of years or a handful of years ago, his techniques were pretty different from what I saw people doing at the time. Like, he was taking like a scale modeler, like a tank modeler or train modeler type of approach to Gundam, because that's his background, and it was really cool. If you've seen the interviews that he's done with Zach, they're pretty cool. Like, I thought it was interesting having watched the first one where he was really just getting into like the Gundam stuff, and then they went back. What did he do it like 2 years later or so?
Mhm.
And I mean, he showed his shelf, and his shelf is just like filled with Gundams that he snapped together, and like he's like, oh, I got this idea to do this, and I got this idea to do that, and I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, Mike's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely has a good technique. The main weathering technique that he uses, well, he uses two main weathering techniques, and one of them is reductive chipping using hairspray, and the other one is using oil paint rendering to get different effects. And there's a lot of ways that can be incorporated. I use oil paint. I use those two things basically when I do my weathering on my kits. Is I do hairspray chipping, various layers, and then oil paint rendering.
That would be cool. That's not a bad idea.
Could do that. Got a lot of books. We both do. So
I mean, like I think the reason too we've never like gone too in detail with the books is like there's that like ethical line of like, am I just showing you the whole book on YouTube? You know what I mean? I don't want to go page by page, but taking a couple minutes just to explain like a book and why we think it's great, I think would be a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Like, I mean, that's something that sucks about obviously, like for me, the pandemic is I loved going to like bookstores, even if they're like the commercial Barnes and Noble, like just walking in. I don't know, something about I enjoy online shopping. Like I buy half of my stuff, like, and I'm not talking about Gundam. I'm talking about life stuff from Amazon. But I do miss, touching things, like going in and physically picking up a book and, looking through it before I buy it and having that like tactile feel to it,
Well, yeah, like I was saying, if you can get a chance to page through something, you get you can understand a little bit more what it's about or like what is there, as opposed to just seeing a couple of images that may or may not be linked to an Amazon ad or whatever.
Sure.
Right.
I'm unfortunately I don't have some of the, like in my area, there's probably more than I know. I just haven't really looked into it. But in South Florida, we don't have like a whole lot of specialty, bookstores and stuff like that. But I remember being in New York once with Brian. We went to Kinokuniya and a couple other places, and then Book Off. And then I went back and I went to Kinokuniya again because we just happened to be right by Bryant Park. And both times I went, maybe a year apart from each other, and both times they had different sets of books and specifically related to like Mecha or Gundam or I'll say like Japanese mech specifically, because the stores obviously obviously if you don't know, it's a Japanese bookstore. But it was honestly like the first time I went, it was almost like overwhelming because I had never physically seen that many of that type of book, like I'd be used to seeing like, there's none of that in Barnes and Noble, or at least by me. So I was like, I don't even know what to buy. Like I want all of them.
Yeah. Yep. It's a good time. I miss it too. I haven't done that shit.
Yeah. It's there's always something relaxing about, getting a nice cup of coffee and perusing the bookstore.
Yeah.
In peace and quiet. Barnes and Nobles is your bookstore. Yeah. I enjoy like I didn't go there up until maybe like the last 4 years or so, and my son, who's 5, like is in love with Barnes and Noble. I don't know where it came from. Like he has always thought that is the coolest place in the world because it has books and toys, I guess. And they usually have like stations set up or they used to, at least, obviously pre-COVID, for kids to like play in.
Oh yeah.
Like they'd have like the Thomas Train set up there or whatever. So it just became this thing that like you'd ask him what you want to do, and normally a kid would say like, oh, go to the park or whatever. He'd be like, I just want to go to, he used to call it Barnes and Noodles. And we'd go to Barnes and Noble and spend like 2.5 hours there just looking through stuff, and kind of developed more of a love for even going to some place like that. Like I said, it's
that's good.
But
yeah, no, I love books, like clearly. So I will spend hours at bookstores just looking at even shit that I'm not interested in. I'll just go look at it like I wouldn't think I was interested in. I'd be like, what's over here? Yeah.
I started to read as I'm an old guy now, but like as I've gotten a little older. When I was young, I didn't
younger than me
reading, but now that like my free time is different than it used to be, I'll say that. I do enjoy reading a book.
Yeah.
And I've also through the last I cut out the right part. Through the last 2-3 years of getting into anime, I've read some light novels and stuff like that. And that's fun too.
Oh, that ankle. Nice. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Dang, like.
Yeah, man. Dave went to Shinjuku in Tokyo. I would be. My wife and I have been really roughly planning a trip to.
For a while, you guys have.
Right. Well, we were going to go last year. And then, well, the world changed, and then just really hesitant to make any concrete plans right now until, you can really see that trend of things getting better.
That is fucking nice. Here, we'll look down at it. Yeah. On that Simpro box. Yeah. So right now, the polycap is split in the center by the seam of my joint. So the best place for that ankle to be is at the very fucking end of the post that they fucking included in it. And because I added that extra bit on there, I had to file it down, as you guys probably saw me doing right now. But yeah, I had to file it down. But yeah, and it trimmed in, fucking super spectacular. So touching back on your impending trip to Japan, you have been planning that for a long fucking time. 20 minutes.
Yeah, I would say at least 2 years. I came up, maybe even 3. I came up with the concrete we're going to Japan, right? So we started putting money aside and then looking into it, and we had planned to go in 2020, and the world fell apart. And I keep looking up places and kind of narrowing down where we want to go while we're there, because it'll be a long trip. It'll be 10 days at least of being there. But I don't want to plan anything in set in stone until I know I can actually go and
you can.
Yeah, and enjoy it. I don't want to go there and have everything closed. That's not the purpose of the trip. But anyway, I told her already that there'll be a day when we go to Akihabara, and you're gonna have to leave me alone. You're gonna have to know that I'm gonna be,
just don't talk to me.
I'm gonna be standing in front of a shelf for 2 hours, probably either a bookstore or especially a tool. If I can find some modeling tools, I'm sure I'll love to look at. But I think for the most part, I can get what I want here.
There are some things that you cannot get.
Yeah. Oh, if I can find some stupid things that I've been looking for, for a good amount of time.
Like that ceramic scraper that I ordered from Volks or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if I can find the perfect grade Phoenix, I might do something stupid.
For
a good price. Or the 7-Eleven Astray, you never know.
Yeah, you have a chance of actually finding those things out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Unlike, finding them out here.
Yeah, I mean, I can find it. It's not hard at all to find it, but it's just very expensive. Guy said, what's your take on the controversial redo of Healer anime? So Guy, that's funny you say that. I actually have read the manga of redo of the Healer, and reading the manga, I didn't think it was that controversial. I mean, if you read manga or manhwa or like Chinese comics, like revenge comics are very common. Like the whole, you took everything from me, I'll kill you all. I mean, it was a little graphic in that there was some sexuality tied into it.
That's like every Western.
Right. Yeah. Like, I mean, why is that different than Game of Thrones other than it's animated? I think that's the controversy, is that it's animated. So you link it with children or younger audience, and it's a much more adult theme to it. I've watched the first episode, but I watched it on an American streaming service like High Dive or something. So it was edited, which was really odd because like certain things go on and it just like pans the camera to like a shelf. And you're like, wait, what? I mean, like, I clearly know what's going on here, but this is a little strange. Like, you couldn't even just blur it out.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. But no, I'm good with it.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll probably continue to watch it. I'll probably try to find a place to watch it unedited so I can not watch the shelf for a minute. But in general, I don't like to censor art, if you will.
That's real good. Definitely affected the stability of the model. Originally, before last night, I should say, because last night was when I put those little foot pads on the front of the toes. Those were, if you know the Julia model, it just has these like weird, like spiky 3-fingered claw things. It's a fucking idiot pirate. Anyway. So I had no problem cutting them apart. and then I slapped them on the side because they have like that cool toe form, right? And that like, yeah, different kind of like claws. But yeah, so I added those front. They weren't very stable. Backfilling with epoxy putty and then putting those little pads on there has totally enhanced the strength and stability of the whole model. And then also extending that ankle because it allows me for better geometry. What I was ending up with before was that I had it pulled so far out that it wasn't engaging the strength within the polycap, right? It's like very like part of the way in the polycap. So I would get dude would be chilling, and then he'd just be like, we're just like, and just fall down. So, oh, Michael Dawson. Boom. I use Mr. Color Primer. That's what I use for the most part throughout, unless I'm doing something like a diorama, like bases and stuff that are made out of foam. I spray with Vallejo primer because that stuff is like weird. yeah. This is, what pose am I thinking this build will take? That I don't exactly know. I don't want to go too crazy with diorama on it. I'm, because of the forearms and the pilot and all of that, I don't know how active I think it'll be. I might have it doing a stepping left, scanning right, kind of like, arms in like sort of dynamic arms pose, but yeah, nothing crazy. It's not going to be like running or flying or any of those things. It's meant to be on the ground. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Surfacer. Yeah, Mr. Color is coming out with some Mr. Surfacer pink. Oh, very nice. Missions pink primer. Yeah, Julio has used the Missions primers. I haven't had a chance to play with them yet because I am on somewhat limited budget, and I bought when I bought Mission paints, I bought like a spread of colors to play with. Julio says he got his fleshy demon tones on, right? Oh yes, that's right. The Julio's
Butcher
horror pla build. So if you guys know are here hanging out right now and listening to me, but you don't follow Julio or watch Julio's show on Wednesday nights, Wet Palette Wednesdays on Julio's YouTube channel, Clipping Noobs, or Julio Aponte, as it says. And yeah, go check it out. They talk about a lot of weird stuff, but they also build cool things too. So that's welcome to reality. We all talk about weird stuff and build cool things.
Shoulders are done. Top half's done. We're top halved.
Top half.
Top halved. It's got like his shoulders move. Yeah. How much? How much? A little much. Okay.
Oh, I was looking at this. This is like an old gun kit bash thing that I had made, right?
Uh-huh.
And I was looking at it and was like, that could be like that's like a front part of a speed bike, right? If like handlebars there, and then there was like forks that came off the front.
Yeah, like the or a pod racer type looking thing from
right.
Star Wars.
It's got like some funky greebly shit. This is made out of like wires, Messerschmitt ME262 components, and like computer discarded computer parts. A couple of runners. Yeah.
We got a bunch of weirdos. Leo.
Yeah, you are. This computer part is really, really rad. This one that I have, will it focus? No, just gonna focus on me. There it is. Right?
That little metal circle.
Yeah, with the radiation thing on it. Yeah, you see it has those vents in the side?
Yeah. Man, yeah. I talked about this a little last week, but I got to go to Hollywood Studios and see the Millennium Falcon from the ride, and it's basically like a 1-to-1 model. Like this thing's huge, right? And so seeing some of the piping and like all the greeblies that are on like the sides of the Falcon, like they use like PVC for all the piping and stuff like that because it's huge. Like the scale is completely different, but they use like giant 80s PC fans and stuff like that stuck on the side as like cooling vents and shit. It was so cool. I wish I would have taken more pictures. I didn't bring my SLR because I was like, well, I'm not going to take pictures of anyone because we all have masks on. Like that'll be stupid. Like I'm going to take a picture of myself with a mask on, you know, my kid with a mask on. Like I'll just take a picture with my phone if I need to. And then I get to that thing and I'm like, well, and it was all weathered. Like
realized he had fucked up.
The whole land or whatever, like, you know, you go into a little restaurant type thing and it's like a Tatooine style place, so everything's worn and weathered. Like they weathered the walls, they weathered like there's just shit everywhere. I was like, man, I wish, like, I want everyone to leave. I don't want to touch anything, but like I just want to take pictures of all this stuff. I'm like, I go up to the wall and I start rubbing like the wall where the weathering, they had like a wear mark on it. My dad's like, what are you doing? You're rubbing a wall. I'm like, yeah, I just wanted to see like what the texture was they used up here. Was this like plaster? Or?
That's so good. That is so good. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like,
you're rubbing a wall, man. No, but check this out. I wanted to see.
No, I absolutely feel it. I do that too. Anytime like I'm in a place like that I've never been before, I'm going to go and touch the stuff around me.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like, you know, I'm in Tatooine or whatever, it's with the Millennium Falcon or anything like that. But like, yeah, if I'm like for example, if I was on a cruise and I'm visiting a fort on a Caribbean island somewhere or something along those lines, I'm going to go and touch the walls and see what they feel like and see how the stone feels and look at the way that everything fits together, because that's diorama in the future, you know?
Yeah, and I think texture really like separates a build. You know, like if you can incorporate a realistic texture into this kind of scale, like a 1/100 scale, like that's pretty special when you really think about what it is you're doing. Like, you know, you're taking a piece that looks maybe corroded, that on a shoulder, let's just say, that would be like 10 times the size of me. And then, you know, on something that I'm 10 times the size of, like you're you know, So it's cool to like visually see those things and like touch them and feel how they, like, oh, where would be a dark spot? Where would be, where would be thick still?
Yeah, specifically in Barbados, so to keep talking about cruises, so where the cruise ships dock on the port, it's out on a really long jetty because it's like the way that the ocean like slopes up to the island. It's like a really shallow draft. So the big ships are out on the edge, and you walk along this really long jetty all the way into the port. Along that are these gigantic cranes and stuff that have been painted like 1,000 times. But they all have like weepy, rusty bolts and like crazy corroded stuff. So like I've taken tons of photos just walking through and getting to like experience those big metal parts that are like worn and weathered and like all the cool stuff. And being able to, like you're saying, Paul, like literally like touch them and see how they feel and see how that looks in reality. It helps you then telescope the fuck back and try and make it on an itty bitty scale. That is why I did so well with the Zaku Angel of Death, was because I built everything and then I went on vacation on a cruise down to the Caribbean. And it was the first time I went to Barbados. And I saw down there they have specifically like weathered to F a couple of like structures on the way over.
And I was just like, had to make things last much longer than we typically would here in the States.
Yeah, we just replace it or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah, so to see that stuff, and it's just like, I'm like there taking pictures and looking up, just stopping and looking, like, come on, we gotta go. I'm like, but I gotta check out. Do you see that strut? It's amazing. Looking at the welds and shit. Like, oh man, did you see how they put that together? Oh wow, so that's how the weld failed there. So they added 2 bolts. It's just like, nobody but you fucking cares, man.
We were on the plane going to New York. What was that, November of 2019? I was up there, and I remember seeing like on the plane wings from, I guess, rivets or whatever, like it wasn't rust streaking, but it was like dirt streaking, like from, and I was like, I remember staring at it and like, man, that's a good concept, right? Because you always think of like rust or dirt streak vertically, right? Like you think the model stands up and down like the suit, so everything streaks down that way. But this thing's horizontal, but because of like forward momentum, because of wind shear, it's bringing all this stuff back. And I was like, where on like a mobile suit, like if you had wings on the mobile suit, or if you had like, it was specifically designed for space, like, or you take something just really fast looking. I remember thinking about like the V2, and it's got those big V's across the side of his head that have like a very, aeronautical wing design. And I'm like, that would be perfect to like, see if you could put a little rivet detail and then streak it back instead of down.
Yeah, definitely.
To make it, to give it like some visual appeal that it moves a fast moving, suit, instead of just like this guy who tranches around in the dirt, and then is dirty.
It's like static dynamicism, right? So it sells your pose too. So when you put it in that action pose where it's flying and doing a thing, it looks like it's in that pose because it helps suspend that disbelief.
Yeah. If I rub the wall, I'd get well, you're adopted, so. Yeah.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna refill.
I'm sure it was more of my wife being like, "Oh."
Hi, neighbor. It's made on honor. Don't quite know what that means. Oh, made on honor, sold on merit.
Ooh.
The stand-upness of this beer.
Very trustworthy. Streaking for flight. That's right. Yeah. I want the window seat, but I'm not interested in looking out the window at the clouds. I just want to look at the wings here. One day I'll spend some time and actually maybe work on something like that, but for the time being, we'll look at it.
It will happen.
It will happen. It will. That's part of the goal this year, to finish a couple more things.
I talked about my canned koozie before. I'm going to talk about it again real quick. This is the Brewmate. It is a rubberized stainless steel shell with a copper core. And in and of itself, wow. Awesome, right? In and of itself, it is a remarkable canned koozie. You put a really tall, like, this is the, what is this, 16? Pint fits in there real nice. It's got a lid that like suction fits into it. So you can just pour a cold beverage into it or a warm beverage. It works both ways. And it will keep your shit nice and cool or nice and warm and sealed for like a travel mug. But when you're dealing with cool stuff, it comes with this little puck that has a recess for the bottom of your beer can that you freeze and drop into the bottom because it fits in that recess down there. And it will keep, if you're like me working on the modeling bench, you can crack a beer and it might sit there for a couple of hours while you're working. This will keep it cold. So you don't have to worry about a stale funky beer or seltzer or whatever you're drinking. Soda.
LaCroix for me.
Yeah, seltzer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't thinking like a white
water.
Yeah. Seltzer. All right. So this model comes with some smoke cans for like popping smoke. But I totally fucking took over the whole area where that would normally go. So I'm trying to think about where I would put them. I was watching on Persistent Turtle Lucas's recommendation, the Bandai's Obsolete. I hadn't seen this yet. How did I miss this? Or I saw it and I just like drank it out of my brain or something dumb, you know? But have you seen it, Paul?
What is it? Obsolete.
Yeah. It's
I've
like
never heard of it.
Almost like cell shade animation. It's similar to the way that they like did with kind of like the way they did the Appleseed from 2005 or whenever the fuck it was, like the more recent one, the cell shaded one, and kind of like the way they did the newer Berserk series that everybody poo-pooed, where it's kind of like sketchy cell shaded, where the sword every time it hits, it goes kong kong. But yeah, so it's animated kind of like that, but the design is like Machining Krieger had a baby with 8th MS Team.
Okay.
And like the way that it's kind of set up sort of in the lineup of like kind of like the way they dealt with Igloo, or they've dealt with like some of the Machining Krieger IPs where it's been episodic, sort of telling a story, but not necessarily telling like a direct, like, you know, this is Shinji Ikari. His dad hates him. He's got to go jump around inside his mom for a while. Which sounds really weird, but
get in the fucking robot.
You saw the burning Shinji, right?
Yes.
It's so good. Ask you once again to get in the robot.
And Jay.
So good.
I think I'm gonna have to rewatch that now. It's been a little bit.
Well, Ava?
Yeah. I thought about what I didn't watch it in. And I guess Netflix has like the as far as I know, the they have it in subtitle as well. I believe.
On Netflix?
Yeah. Like the
Oh. Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm curious. I didn't think of it. I just like assumed they did, but didn't look into that. But I wonder if they have the
that could be a way to watch it.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I haven't watched it in subtitled form, and something I like to do when if I really like an anime. Yeah. I'm just curious if the Netflix like remastered is
not the rebuild.
No, not the rebuild series. The they redubbed
They did like a 4K whatever color upgrade.
Right,
and
exactly. And they redubbed it, but I don't think they resubbed it, as far as I know. Or like original casted it. So,
I just watch my what I have. I watch my platinum edition.
Yeah. No, worst comes to worst, I can watch the platinum edition, but I'm just curious if if they have that might be a way to watch it.
That is something that I should probably try to acquire the rest of. I have a very small gap in my collection.
Man, I think it might be tough for you to find.
No, they're expensive. I know they are expensive.
I think it'd almost be easier for you to find like the whole box set than to fill it in.
Oh, to do individuals, but the individuals are different because the box set gives you the fucking little skinny shits, and I have the individual ones like. They are so much better. They like have old books and stuff in them. They're good.
eBay. Yeah. Though the group set has like the cool sleeve though.
Michael Dawson is saying a question here. Does anyone know if I can use lacquer paint like Mr. Color and SMS over the MMP primer paints? Of course.
Just make sure if you're going to use, you said lacquer over
acrylic.
Oh, lacquer over acrylic.
Yeah.
Make sure your
SMS and over the mission. Yeah, over the mission models. Yeah.
Make sure your acrylic is really, really dry.
It needs to be dry. Yeah.
Like dry. Like I'm talking, be safe with it and probably give it like an extra day. It's probably really exaggerated, but you know what I'm saying.
Look at Adam. What up, Adam? You know what I haven't done? I feel kind of bad. I haven't plugged USA Gundam Store. Adam is a phenomenal supporter for so many different builders and so many different avenues that if you take a second and really look at it like from an objective like third person view, it is impressive. And thank you, Adam, for being such a kick-ass dude and for sponsoring me and so many other great people and all these competitions and everything that are going down. If you guys need some cool ass shit, go check out USA Gundam Store. While you're there, you can use BroBuilder10 at checkout. Save 10% on your way out. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you can buy this kit, the brand new Verka Wing Zero. That's where I got it from.
Here we go. Pabsy says saying that it takes acrylic about a week to fully cure.
Yeah, there you go.
With the cure.
I mean, I've certainly painted over before that, but hey, if you want to be safe, especially if it's like I have used like lacquer clear over it, but if you were like had a color down that was acrylic, and you were going to put more color down that was lacquer or something like that, you probably give it as much time as you possibly could.
Yeah. Be safe. Yeah, exactly. Michael Dawson, you're right on. If you prime one night and then paint the next night, you're good to go. No stress, man. Just make sure you give it plenty of time to do its thing.
Feel it. Touch the paint. Feel the paint.
Mr. Roger.
Uncle Roger.
Need to feel paint. All right, so I need to see if I have any of these pauldron components left. I like them quite a bit, so it is easy to use them.
Oh, did you just see that?
What?
The Master Grade Dom should be back in March.
What's that, Adam?
When we were building ours on stream, which we'll get back to one day. How many times did we get asked that question, Brian?
Oh, lots of times.
Where did you get your
so many times
Master Grade Dom?
Yeah, I think I got a Rick Diaz project coming up soon, actually.
Yeah, cool kit. That was a fun kit.
Yeah, I've never played with it yet, but there's some stuff in the works. Things. Probably the last 3 passes was going on at 1.5.
Oh, it moves. Okay, fuck. I thought I did it wrong. These are some interesting hips.
Surprise!
It's got like variable hips, but not in the way I've ever seen.
Let me let you hear that shit.
Yeah, hold on. Let me
just fly
to a different cam here. So, you guys can, let's bring that in. Zoom. no motion sickness. You can slide like one hip. It's a little bit different than like the Freedom 2.0 type of style hip, but and then they have a peg to go up and down. But they can slide together or independently. It's pretty cool. I like that. It seems a little more stable than the like I said, the Freedom 2.0 variable hips that kind of have that same split motion.
Here's one. Ooh, that's a good form. Oh shit, sons and sisters. Son and daughter, niece and nephew.
Slide boys for life.
I found one in my leftover parts. Very, very dwindled down collection of Gusian rebake armors and stuff.
Everyone, if you have spare Gusian parts, you know where to send them. You know where to send them to get the most amount of use.
Adam yeah, guys, it's cool. Yeah, I'll use them. But Adam already gave me the hookup. Here. This is the rebake, but it's only the armor parts. So that's exactly what I need.
I was able, I think we were talking about it 2 weeks ago. Do you remember I told you when I built the Jesta how I popped off a piece of the head and couldn't find it?
Yeah.
It was lost forever. I was able to get a replacement piece for it because I ended up buying another Jesta, and then now I have a second Jesta that is missing a headpiece. I was able to buy just that part from a vendor.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I have just a headpiece coming in.
So now
actually, I bought the whole runner because it wasn't that much difference in price to buy the runner.
Whatever. For the horde, more parts.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got the Tower of Power. You guys know it. Every time I trudge out my 19 cases of extra parts.
I had to, because of some shipping constraints, it's on like the slowest shipping ever. It's on a fucking boat in the middle of Indonesia right now or something. But it'll be here in, in like 4 weeks.
Hey, if it comes through and it doesn't have
I am not building another Jesta anytime soon. I just was annoyed that I was missing one part. It was frustrating. Yeah, about the hips that I was showing.
What the hell, Pabs? I think that's how I'm going to do that. Oh, maybe that is exactly how I'm going to do that. That's kind of how it works for me, guys. When I'm what I'm going to call freestyling, I call it that. When I'm freeballing a build, I'm just like grabbing parts and kind of holding them next to each other and seeing how they look. Got this shoulder, this whole assembly right here, and I've got this other component which is similar. Obviously, it's the same component from the same kit. Just trying to figure out how they go together. Just kind of hold it, look at it this way, give it a little pinch, a little tickle. Imagine what it would look like if it was cut in half. I don't know. Sometimes that's how it works out. A lot of times inspiration strikes that way and you're like, oh. Or like if you're working on a part and you're in like a I don't know when I say stumped or whatever, but if you're like, you're stumped. You're working on something, but you're kind of in a rut. Put it on the side. Keep it in view so that it's in your peripheral. But don't work on it directly. Work on something else. Something that's, that you enjoy, that's casual, or something fun that isn't like super constraining. But keep that complicated, annoying shit in your peripheral. And for me, it helps for my brain somehow. I often will see it and look at it and kind of like break it down in my brain and put it back together. And that's how I often will be struck with ways to change something. The flea was that way. I was working on that and building it and frustrated and to the side and turned it around when I did so, then was working on something else and was like, kind of just saw it out of the corner of my eye a few times and was like, that looks kind of cool like that. Maybe I should rethink what I'm doing. And I did.
So, Guy was asking about the RE100 line. They're just about to come out with that P Bandai Big Najina variant, right? I forget what the actual one is, but prior to like 2020, we'd seen the RE100 line, like specifically labeled the RE100, not just another 100 kit that's not quite a master grade. Mm-hmm. All of the RE100s are from UC, and they always seem to accompany a master grade from the UC. So when we got like the Alex, we got the Zaku Kai. When we got the what else did they release for the Big Najina? What's the F91 2.0 with the Big Najina, and then I forget what they did, like the Victory, like rehash, like the redo Victory 2, and then they came out with something for that. The Gun Easy. We haven't really seen, the Hama with the double Zeta. We haven't really seen a whole lot of UC master grades though. Like the last couple of master grades, you got the Wing, you got the Barbatos. What else came out? What's the thing from 00? The orange turns into a.
Oh yeah, I don't care. No, I don't know. Yeah, Pabs, no worries. I'll make it happen, Pabs. It's cool.
So anyway, we haven't really seen that many Curios. There you go, Curios, and the Dynamis right before that, master grade. So we haven't really seen a whole lot of new master grade.
Yeah, Dynamis. Yeah, there's the green one.
Yeah, the Dynamis is the green one with the sniper rifle, and the Curios the transforming.
Curios is fine too. I was just talking shit. I like to talk shit.
But yeah, wait, no, I'm trying to think when was the last like UC master grade, like regular release. I mean, the Faz doesn't really count because it's
It's not. It's the Sentinel.
Well, not only that, but it's we had the double Zeta right before that. It's just kind of like clip-on armor for the double Zeta.
Yeah. I don't.
Someone in chat will tell me, but Faz was the last one. There you go. So, I'm sure, I would imagine if you're going to see another RE100 line, you're going to see it accompanied by a master grade from the same series. So until you see that, you may not see an RE100. That's just my theory anyway. And I'm sticking to it.
Interesting. Oh,
Alex, that maybe right, and the Alex had the Zaku RE100.
Yeah, which was all right. That model was okay.
Yeah.
It had really nice legs and a really trash core. Like, if I recall, it was either the core or it was the arms that were doo-doo.
Yeah, and its head was a little funky shaped too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it had a serious case of fat head.
Here it is.
It had a derp dome.
I built this on vacation last year on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, which was actually pretty fucking kick-ass to build some Gundam while I'm relaxing and drinking some drinks.
No deadlines to worry about, and no.
What was it? Yeah, it was the chest and the arms. The arms were super lackluster, and the chest was just kind of like, yeah, that head is weird and like short, dumpy, no goodness, and like that's blocky as fuck. So it needs improvement. It needs to be bro broad. That's what it needs. It needs to be bro builded. It needs to be bro fluenced. Got to make it bigger. So I probably will do that because I love me some Zaku's. You guys know I love my Zaku's. But yeah, other than that, it was a pretty cool kit. I love the color of the green on this specifically, which is like a kind of a dumb thing to say, but I really do love the color of the green plastic on this one.
That's
Dramatic, guys. And the leg design, the boosters on the legs, just the whole like the way that it fits, it has like a really good flow. So the design is tight. I really think that that's nice. But there's just a couple of things. Big waist for such a short torso.
Yeah, the line art on that kit is really bulky though.
I feel like he's wearing a barrel.
Yeah, he's
right?
Adjusted.
Right? This guy lost everything. He's wearing a barrel. Even the shirt on his back. Bernie, no.
If I remember right from the anime, his chest was like a little wider than that. If anything, it wasn't so much barrel as it was like a whole lot of girth width.
I think it was wider. I feel like it was more streamlined. It was more stretched out, like taller.
Yeah,
like it had the same forms, but it wasn't so dumpy. That's the problem I think with a lot of Bandai kits is they make them really fucking dumpy. I have that same opinion about all the 100 Full Mechanics Iron Blooded Orphans kits. Is they're fucking dumpy as hell.
Yeah, I mean, I think that had a lot to do with them trying to, like fit every one of them onto the same frame.
Right.
Like
the small.
Huh?
The frame is too small. For the amount of style in the armor and the variance in the style of the armor, the frame was too small.
Yeah.
They need to size it up 10%. If they had done that, everything would look wonderful, but kept the armor the same, or more or less the same.
I have to build the master grade of that. I haven't done it yet.
I haven't too.
To like touch the frame on it because I've heard it's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Do the next one. Next one I snapped together.
I got a fucking couple of Nanjus I got to put together. I got the Takumi, I think it is the Nanju.
Takumi, yeah.
Takumi plastic. I was talking to, I think it was Ongawa I was talking to about that. It's good stuff.
Kid's got a bunch of those like where the inner frame pokes through the armor, which is sweet. I like it. I'm a fan.
Yeah, this High New from Ujalan has a same sort of deal where the armor replacement allows some of the inner frame to be exposed, and it's very well done.
That's the one with the massive backpack.
Yeah, and the one the one I'm working on the side. This one. I'll grab the instruction quick. Here you go, Paul.
Oh yeah. It's got like the over the shoulder bobbers there.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
Huge.
I mean, just even that, it makes the High New.
That's such a good looking kit, man.
Dude, the resin on this is so good.
Really? Even just painted up like the stock High New, like that thing looks so good.
It is a fucking sex factory. Right? Oh, so good.
This kid's a bitch.
What's that? Oh, Miguel's doesn't like some things about it.
About that one? He's working on the same
kit?
kit?
He's working on it too, yeah. He's got one, Z's got one, Pabs is doing 2.
Yeah. Fuck your face 1. I'm gonna do 2.
Oh man. Tanks. Oh, everything. It's so nice. Yo, this thing has got drape. The drape on this kit.
What don't you like about it, Miguel? What are you having trouble with, man?
It's just. Oop, there we go.
Fitting issues?
Look at that shit. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Is that your first resin dress up?
Oh, for Miguel.
I could see that.
More than he could chew. Well, you're doing well. There's just certain things he's frustrated with. It's like a little stuff. So,
yeah. Ooh, you that's a part heavy kit to start off with, man. A lot of little parts too.
Never touched a resin before. Miguel, you should have went with the Sim Pro Sniper Striker Cross or the GKM Dom Tropin conversion.
Yeah. Is there a lot of cutting in that kit though, or is it mostly?
There's a little bit of cutting. It's a little bit of cutting, but there's a lot. It's a lot of components.
Yeah,
and
a lot of components that fit together, right? Like,
and it's heavy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah. Having built I'm so deep into resin. Like, I was like, I built scale models like crazy when I was young. But Babs doesn't get bad advice if you follow it, says Chris Babs. I built like, 40
tell him not to do that one first.
I built like so many models back when I was young, right? Just to the point where I had it like fully under grasp. And then I started modifying toys and did all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then fully came around full circle to building prop replicas and then get into casting and resin and stuff like that. And then like regress that to smaller and smaller back to models again. I get the resin thing and the fitment and all the ins and outs. So for me, it's like, and for some other people, it's a little bit more like common, not sort of common knowledge, but like understood. We get it. Trial by fire, a little bit of trial by fire, I guess. But it's just a challenge. Don't worry about like trying to finish it fast. Just think about how you can resolve it the best that you can. Like, what do you need to do? Do you need to add a pin? Do you need to try and do something with a magnet? Is it just a like a fitment thing? Is it like, who knows? There's a lot of things that could be done. So, and I've never been afraid to cut something apart and modify it. Lucas $500 Calamity model that I put together. The first thing I did to it was like, how can I add polycaps to this and pegs to make it possible? I'm just going to get out the Dremel and that's how you do it.
What's up, Z? Where'd you ask a question, man? I thought this is the first time I've seen your name pop up.
Yeah, Z ain't been around yet. Not quite yet. What the fuck are you talking about, Ronan? Oh yeah, watching Ariel's Mecha Pew Pew show. Where? I'm not seeing any of this.
I got you now.
Z, I'm gonna come over to your house. I'm gonna slap you in the mouth. I'm gonna ride my bicycle all the way to Chicago, Illinois.
Slap you right in the soup cooler.
And I'm gonna slap you straight in the mouth.
Right in the soup cooler.
But I'm gonna bring one of the Julio's little teeny hands that fits on a finger and put it on a chopstick, and I'm gonna slap you with that. Actually, I'll put it on a 6-foot chopstick because social distancing. Yeah, we're all resin kids. Straight up. In the stream, the resin kids table. Straight. I like this.
Wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going straight up. It's okay to put something on the shelf and go back to it later after doing something, chill. Yeah, straight up. Same with Pabs. Like, definitely can stream with you, even closed session. It doesn't have to be live and stuff like that to do work. I can do this, with schedule withstanding. to talk about stuff. Definitely don't be afraid to ask a question to anybody, like me or Paul or Pabs or whoever, even if we don't know.
I will say you're lucky enough to be building it with other people, so they're like going through the same things you are. Now that it may be a lot quicker for them to work through it because of their experience. But like I know I stole a lot from Brian when we were putting together the DOM. I was like, hey, like this don't look right to me. What do you think?
Like, oh no, yeah, it's really chill. Like this and that and the other. It's cool.
So it's just like steal their experience if you can.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. This motherfucker. Ronan says, Miguel, building a stray with me. Way more fun. Ask Paul. How many strays did you build, Paul? Paul's built so many strays.
Built the strays? 2?
Yeah.
Exactly. 2? But I have them.
He's an army.
You
know that ridiculous Leo collection thing? Paul's got that, but it's strays.
Yeah. What was the thing from The Hobbit? The dragon? I'm the smog of strays. Like I'm just here to hoard them. I'm not gonna build them.
Two Pauls of a feather. Seriously.
You don't build strays. Come on.
Anchoret Stein isn't bad in terms of difficulty, says Ngawa. Yeah. We have Paul and I both have the Alex. Yeah. I look forward to doing that too.
Isn't too crazy parts heavy if I remember. Like I went through it to do like like an inventory, and I don't remember it being like insane.
No, I mean it's like not as intense as obviously as the high new because there isn't like the backpack and all that other shit, but it is like similar in regards to what goes onto the body and swap out. Yeah.
I feel like all those companies, they are somewhat like Anchoret, Infinite Dimensions, the one you guys have. Like they have a very, very similar like aesthetic and like even down to like the packaging, you can see how similar they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, definitely.
The vac sealing, I like that quite a bit. It makes me want to do that with my shit to help keep things separate.
Anchoret is okay, and Anchoret before Anchoret, like at least some of the designers were Infinite Dimensions, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it's basically the same company for Anchoret, but yeah, they're Yujaolan guy. Here you go. Anchoret was the original ID designer. The RX-78 and Alex were the last thing that he worked on before departing ID.
Gotcha.
Wow. In court. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, ID goes infinite. I picked that up as I'm sitting here thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should say that, but ID means infinite dimensions. Yeah, the infinite dimension designer. Yeah, the Alex is super duper nice. I have it over there in a box. I can dig it out.
I have the Alex and the Exia Dark Matter from Infinite Dimensions. And then I have the Anchoret Sazabi. That was like 2.0, I think is what they called it, because it was, again, the same.
I have the
Infinite Dimension.
Yeah, I get the split. I get the 2.0 body and the 1.0 backpack and weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my extra 1.0 body and I gave it to Julio because he got one too.
So I just looked at the Master Grade line history, and they did move away from the UC timeline for the first 7 years of it. First non-UC kit was the Master Gundam. Oh. Makes sense though. I mean, like, you know, they did. Yeah, I that's what I figured. Didn't. That's, you know, a majority of like the Gundam series. Like, I don't know, probably half of all Gundam series are from the UC timeline, so it makes sense that.
Oh yeah.
It would be the majority of the kits, right?
Mm-hmm. Who's the Jagged Dogga opposite?
What's that?
Said who is the Jagged Dogga linked to? Because that's a Re 100. You were saying that they were kind of like linked.
Well, they didn't always do that. Like, I don't think like the Nightingale and the first couple, but like the last couple they did. Maybe the
because the Zaku was totally linked to the Owls.
Yagdoga didn't. Yagdoga, yeah, the Yagdoga comes from Char's counterattack. What did they really? Oh, the Jagan.
Oh yeah, I have the. Oddly enough, they're standing next to each other. If that's the case, because the Jagan is right next to the Jagdoga on my shelf.
Oh no, I know the Nightingale is from the same novel as the Hainu. I'm just saying that like when they released the RE100, they released a Master Grade, and I don't recall if the Hainu was released at the same time as the Nightingale. I could be wrong. I could be completely off on that one, but.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, like the last couple of RE100 kits were released with a Master Grade from the same series, kind of, you know, in succession.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Jagan, and wasn't that one released around the same time when Char's counterattack was like having some kind of
25th or something.
Yeah. Okay, they did release. The Verka Hainu, not the original Hainu, the blue and white one.
Right. Jagan is such a fun kit.
Yeah, I have the Jagan snapped up to my right here. It was a cool kit. A simple kit. Went by real quick.
Yeah, pretty quick, but at the same time, it's got like a bunch of really good forms, and you can, you know, I polished it. You know, I did the thing.
Yeah. I'm still kind of shocked they haven't released more of those. I thought we were going to get like 100 P Bandai variants of it because it was so simple. I just, you know, seemed like that was the route they were going to go.
I really wish they would do something with F91. So this is going to sound like everyone's like, but listen, listen. F91 is a wildly creative property, IP, right? Intellectual property. That like came around at a bad time with bad funding and like weird things were going on, and so like weird things happened to it, and so it's like the, you know, the redheaded stepchild of the Gundam community. Not as bad as the Canadian one. What is that one? Yeah,
G
Savior. Yes, G Savior, right. But in like Igloo and stuff like that, they're not looked like very highly upon. Right? There's so much cool creative shit. If you look at the model lineup from 89 to 90 for Gundam F91, there's some really, really cool models that are there. But, you know, obviously they didn't have like the funding was weird and this and that and the other. But those are the first models that had polycaps, and they had like bicolor casting and other cool different gimmicks and stuff like that were integrated into them. But like the gyms and the RGMs and the gun cannons and the gun tanks and all those things were like really fun spins on like original ideas that didn't get a very proper exploration, or, you know, they weren't, you know, they could have been done so much better. Looking at like the way things are done now, and looking at like, you know, the Jagan is very similar to one of the gyms, the RGMs in Gundam F91, and it would be so cool to see that kick-ass model that is just like this weird, like off-sized thing because they're all weirdly proportioned at that point. Why, Tomiya? Why? It's like these ones are only going to be 16 meters tall. What?
I thought Gundam X was decently good. I would put that in the category of G Savior or G Recco.
I haven't seen X.
X was good. It was a different take on like that new type thing. The protagonist pilot was not new type. That wasn't like new types weren't necessarily used as like pilots. They were used as like the main, like his female interest was the new type, and she was more of like a sensing type thing. He was the pilot.
Okay, she's more like an Esper.
Yeah, exactly. G Recco was shit. It's fine.
Cool suits though.
Cool suits, yeah. Cool designs all together.
Mm-hmm.
Age is like my most disappointing Gundam series because I thought it had some really cool concepts and like that 3-arc timeline and like the whole thing with like generational pilots, and like they had some really cool storylines, like the middle son living up to the oldest character, like his dad's shadow and stuff like that, like living up to that expectation of being like the best pilot in the world and having, you know, space magic, and you don't. But then they just wrapped it up in like kids show.
Definitely
like,
trying to speak to some children, or like some young adults for that matter. Like
I think if they would have made Age in the same tone as they made like Zeta, it would have been like one of the best Gundam series, but it just missed the mark, man. They missed like the tone of it. It just wasn't.
Yeah, is it too like, what is it? Because I haven't seen it. Is it like slapsticky or what the fuck is it?
Yeah. You know, like, did you watch Double Zeta?
No, I saw like part of a Canadian dub of it once, but like couldn't get very far into it.
So I watched the entire sub, but like one of the common complaints about Double Zeta is like the first 15 to 20 episodes are really like slapstick and stupid, and then tone changes to go back to like Zeta, like that deep space opera, you know. It's a tragedy.
Serious political strife, war, and
Age was like somewhere in between Double Zeta and like, I don't know, Build Divers, like it was just too like kiddie, like I don't even know how to describe it. But
to echo Adam from his most recent show with Zach last Thursday, I think it was a week ago, today or no, Friday, we could go tomorrow, where he was saying like we really don't need any more Build Divers endeavors from the Bandai creation teams, please.
No, I mean I feel like that's a like a toy tactic. Like that's we got all these cool HG kits. If we just slap some shit on them from Build Divers, we can resell them, right? I would really like to see a new. I mean, I know we're getting Hathaway's Flash here, but a new series would be nice. But
haven't they already released most of those kits?
Hathaway's Flash, in high grade, we haven't gotten anything master grade from that.
Oh no, they wouldn't. Like, they're not going to do the Zai or whatever in master grade. It's going to be it's like it's like the Penelope up there. You couldn't do that shit in master grade. It's ridiculous.
You could do it in that
it would go the route of the fucking
that you did unicorn, and you could actually charge people $150 for a master grade.
Oh, like the way they're doing the access one, or the whatever it is, the extreme or whatever the fuck it is, right? MGX. Yeah,
it could potentially work that way.
Yeah, my problem, or my worry, not problem, but my worry is that it would end up being like the Dendro or like the Deep Striker, where a lot of it is like crazy clamshell,
right?
And and like it ends up being kind of cool, but like not what we would want it to be, So which is why I get the high grade aspect, because they get away with it being allowed, wink wink, nudge nudge, say no more, for being a clamshell to a degree, because it is a high grade. But they can still try to incorporate some gimmicks because it's a larger scale of a high grade. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want a new Gundam series, and it doesn't need to be UC. Like, I'm fine with an alternate universe. I'm fine with a completely original story, or from the 10,000 fucking mangas they have. Like, pick something out. Or just give me more Thunderbolt or more Origin. More than happy with that too. Like, it doesn't have to be, the newest thing.
Chris, what up, G-Bunnies?
What's up, Chris? Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it depends on how popular Hathaway's Flash is. Like, if it's an insanely popular movie, I'm sure we'll get kits out of it. I was just reading yesterday that it's going to be the most widely what's the word I'm looking for? Like displayed, distributed Gundam series as far as like a movie goes ever. So we'll see how that goes. Like, if it's popular, I'm sure we'll get some. They'll find a way to make a kit if they think they can sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I think that. Well, okay. So this is just me spitballing right now. I hope that Hathaway's Flash does good, but I think that if it does really good, then they'll do more of the things that they've been kind of hinting at. Like, I don't know if they're still doing Beginning Gundam, like redoing the original OG, like with the style of Origin and filling in the gaps.
Sure. May 7th,
retcon
release date. I don't know if it's getting the same US release date, but that's the
Japanese release date.
Then we're gonna get 3 movies, so I'll buy 2 of anything if it's MG. Yeah.
I often, like, if it's a kit that I do enjoy, I will often buy 2 of them if I am like out late. Yeah.
Purchasing. Yeah, one to like actually build, and then one to like rip apart and use for parts.
Yeah. Or like one to build and massacre and one to hold on to for a later date. or what's happened is it ends up being like me, I build one and then it sits on the shelf, and then the other one is like, for massacre
fodder. I've definitely bought multiple strays.
Is anyone surprised? Do a quick poll. Anyone surprised?
Oh god. Multiple strays, multiple wings. I have like every iteration of all those wing kits except for the newer P Bandai. Like, what is that manga? The Glory to the Losers ones.
Oh right, yeah.
You got like a big sword. I just don't give a shit about that. But
I've only heard of it. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a wing guy.
I like the designs. I like those like any of the series design wise that have like the multiple lead suit thing. Like 00 has like the 4 of them? The 4 lead suits. Wing has the 5. Seed has the 5. I like that concept of like the different iterations of the same suit type of thing.
Paul likes boy bands.
I like boy bands. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Gundam boy bands. That's what I'm into.
If you look at it, even IBO has that sort of deal. Because you've got the Barbatos.
I mean,
the Barbatos, the Full City, the
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that we get some more master grades. I would die for a master grade Flaros. I love that kit. And that design. The pink one with the big cannons on his back.
Flaros. Yeah. I had to go through my head and be like, what was it? Shit. What was the fucking guy? Ah, fuck. It's been a minute.
That last 00 kit, right? The whatchamacallit this year? The big one, the fat boy that had, like, he's like a little suit inside of the Virtue.
Oh, that one is cool. Actually, that suit is cool. Yeah. I will say. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost one of the first models I bought. I was like the Virtue, the Seven Sword, and like I think the Buster were one of the first three kits that I was looking at buying for when I was going to first buy a Gundam to put together a scale model of that sort for the first time in 20 years or whatever. And yeah, I went with the Seven Sword.
This guy says, I said it back in December, the rumor Mills Lurk point to reboot the original series. It has been confirmed that Tomino is working for Sunrise and at least talking to Bandai on a project.
Yeah. Well, at the end of Origins, there were like next beginning Gundam. So it was like kind of a nudge, but it makes sense because the Origin, I have the whole Origin manga. It goes through all of the story again. So like there's no reason for them to not give it a proper treatment with proper dubbing and proper pacing and, you know, budgeting. And
they're going to be popular, right? Like if you're going to.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's already fucking popular. It's popular enough to.
Yeah, and anime right now is probably at about an all-time high as far as popularity goes. Like it's pretty mainstream right now to, you know, especially with some of the bigger, like you look at like Attack on Titan and like its viewership right now as the final season's airing. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, I mean, I would hope they do because I really enjoy Origin. I've really enjoyed that, and then I hope that they carry on with Thunderbolt and continue to do some of that.
Yeah, that one, like it seems like it would be a waste not to complete it. No, because like you're like to get halfway there. Like
they're not even halfway there though.
I mean, for movie, what would it be? 3 more movies, maybe?
They could probably get away with it in 2 more, depending on where they end it. Because so I just got issue 15, and I don't know. It'd be tight if they wrapped it up in 16. Then it would be 4 movies essentially. Yep. But I don't know if they're going to be able to do that because it's like, but it also seems that way. It's like I feel like there are things that are like, oh, this is a thread that we started a while ago. We're tying it up. Like, oh, this is a wild thread that we kind of started a while ago. We're tying that up. It's kind of like I feel that we are coming to that point. Z says, where can I watch Attack on Titan?
Ooh, I don't have a link, Z. I watch it on Funimation. I guess that is. I can't. Funimation, yeah, it's the streaming service. We'll see what the future is like for some of those because Funimation bought Crunchyroll. Funimation did not buy Crunchyroll. Since Sony who owns Funimation, Sony bought Crunchyroll, so now they own them both. So potentially in the future, it could be one streaming service for all anime in the United States.
Funnyroll?
I like Funnyroll.
Funnyroll.
Crunchymation. Funnyroll sounds good.
What if it was like Fujimail? Just saying.
Z, I did used to know some of those alternate sites, I'll say, but they all got shut down like a year ago, and I haven't been keeping up with like who replaced those. We were talking about redo of a healer earlier, and to watch the unedited version, the uncut version, I probably have to find one of those sites again. I used to know like Kiss Anime used to be like the one to go to watch whatever you wanted to, and that's not around anymore.
Crunchy Nation.
I like it.
I do like it too, actually.
Shady Links. I'm sure a quick Google search I could find who replaced them, but I just haven't. There's another Strike the Blood it's like a vampire series, and they had OVA movies, and they don't release on like a common streaming service, but they release like once every 2 or 3 months, and I have to catch up on those.
Well, we are at the time, my friend. We started late, but we finished late coming in at that time. I think we should call this one, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where can the fine folks find you, Paul?
Yeah, at YouTube, haven't released any content in quite a while, but Instagram's mainly where I am. So Gunpla Paul on Instagram. My Twitter is really just to follow Japanese modelers. So you won't get anything out of that.
Whoop. And of course, Paul will be here.
Yeah.
Next
Every
Thursday.
Thursdays. 3 more weeks until 100, right?
Mm-hmm. Somebody said what day it was. I don't even remember. Sometime in February. I think it was the 18th. Yeah.
We'll have something cool set up. I don't know what it is
figure
yet.
It out. Cool. Right. So yeah, I'm Brian. Welcome to the show. Ending. Welcome to the goodbye of the show. No, that doesn't work either. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the KotoKai Robo-Dojo Workbench, episode 97. There's a lot of stuff going on. Mechanism is tomorrow. Right? I think so. Yeah. That's coming down. Next week, we've got another Critical build-off, core build-off, doodly-doo-doo coming out on Tuesday. Julio's got Wet Palette Wednesday on Wednesdays, which is in the name. Yeah. Work on that.
Clever.
And then we'll be back here. Ding, ding. Submit your builds to Critical build-off through Chris Pabs' Instagram. You can look him up. Chris Pabs, just search him. Through his Instagram, it's linked to his description or his bio. There it is. And so submit some cool stuff so we can talk about some cool stuff. We'd love to see your work and let other people see your work, and then let you potentially see your work in a way that you potentially didn't see it before. Potentially with potentiality. I gotta go. Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Paul, for hanging out. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.